Good morning, guys. Welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Emily, and I've been AWOL for it's close to 2 weeks, I think. It's just been crazy. I'm very busy at the moment with a lot of shifts at work. We've got a lot going on, so I've not done very much stitching, but I thought I'd pop on just to say hello. I'm still here in my very, very quiet small corner of Flosstube, and I thought I'd immediately got cat hair in my coffee. Bought myself a milk frother yesterday. Very nice. Finally, I want proper coffee from the coffee machine topped up with hot milk. So I've solved the issue. Okay. I've actually only worked, I think, on 4 things since I last saw you. I don't think I've done a lot of stitching. I did do a lot of stitching into my treasure hunt bookshelf on the last 3 panicky days of the month, as I always tend to have to do. It's going to be the same this month because so far this month I've put 200 stitches into it. I'll go with it first. I haven't moved my Q-snap, I don't think. Last time I recorded it will have looked like this, and I was quite a long way off. And for my month, I don't think I have new people at all anymore. So I do, probably everybody knows who's watching, knows that I do 1% a month on my supersized max colour treasure hunt bookshelf, and it's at 27%. So I've been working on it for 27 months, and the last time I recorded it was quite close to the end of the month, and I was about 0.5% off. 1% is 7,220 stitches, give or take. So yeah, I was quite a long way off. I'll put up the picture again before I show you where I got to. I obviously met my goal with 1 day to spare, which was lovely. I left myself, I literally was too tired to finish my stitches on the 29th. So on the 30th, I think I did like 111, and it got me to my percentage. But in doing the stitches between my Flosstube and the end of the month, I reached the 100,000 stitches mark, which is the little milestone. Obviously, the piece is 720,000 stitches. So I've a very long way to go. But was it the 100,000? I think it was. I might be talking nonsense. It can't be two. Was it 200,000? I think it might have been. Hang on. Good morning, it's me, and I'm not awake. I reached the 200,000 the 200,000 stitch mark. There we go. That's how awake I am. I think I need to drink a little bit more of my coffee. This is my second of the morning. It's quite early. Sun's not even approaching coming round yet. It's 8:20 in the morning on Saturday, September the 7th. So it's still quite early. I'm on a late today. I've been on earlies all week, and I'm on a late today, so that's good. And my day off on Wednesday, I was fairly busy, but I'll maybe tell you about that in a bit. Okay, so this is now at 27.02, which means I've done about 140 to 200 stitches so far this month. There's a very loud fly, there's a fly buzzing around in the conservatory, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. So it looked like this when I recorded, and this is with another, I think, 0.4%. I'm still in Cinderella. I'm debating now, because of course now I'm bored, I'm debating whether I actually fill in all the little gaps that are left in Cinderella here, which I probably should, or whether to just sack it and move the Q-snap and work on somewhere else altogether, because that equally is calling to me. I think I'm going to move the Q-snap, but this way. This is me deciding right now on a whim. I might move it so that I can stitch here, because I know I've got book spines here, and that's usually bulk stitching in, 8 to 10 colours, but a huge chunk in just a few colours. So if I move the Q-snap along, so sort of chopping Cinderella in half there, I can do a big chunk and then work a couple of colours, because the colours going in here, because it's max colour, probably 5 to 10 stitches of each colour in this whole scene. Change your thread. different colour, 5 to 10 stitches. Find a ninja stitch, 1 stitch, change your bobbin. It's very time consuming. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm completely up for it. I've been doing it for 200,000 stitches, but I need to get my stitches in too. So I think I'm probably going to pull it along just a bit. We'll probably chop her down through this blue bird. I keep thinking it's a teapot weirdly, but I think it's a little blue bird. I'll probably move the Q-snap to there, and then so I can work on this bit. I think that's what I'll do, because obviously I've got to get my stitch. I would like to get my stitches in for the month. I don't want to fall behind, but I'll let you know now. September, the rest of September is stupid for me. I'm literally working or doing major things that take a day and a half when I'm not working. So it's going to be tight this month. I say that every month, and then I put in a huge effort to get my stitches in, which gives me that little push, you know. But that's my treasure hunt bookshelf, and this is how it rolls. This is it. It gets carried around like this. It has a bag. Bag is here. Bag went through the washing machine and the tumble dryer. This is the one I made that I put the duvet cover poppers in, and it's a perfectly serviceable bag. When I cut out this fabric, these are my fabrics from my stash, not stuff I've bought to make bags with, if you understand what I mean. These are mine from 20 years ago. You know, I've got the quilts I made the girls when they were babies, have got these fabrics in. These are my memory fabrics. So when I made this was my prototype Q-snap bag. I actually made 2. I made 2 sets of the patchwork. It's really rough, obviously, like 3.5-inch square patchwork there. So the other day I did sit down and I made the other bag, and I've never made a bag as nice as this. Here's the other bag. Oh, notice the difference. It's actually square. It's got the pocket, it's got a little vinyl pocket on the front with the sparkly vinyl I've always used. I've always used the sparkly vinyl. And look how I got the zip in. I've never done a zip this neat. Look at that. I'm getting better. So I just sat and I just made a 1 whole bag. Yes, I should have done 57 other things, but I made 1 whole bag. And I'm just really, I'm quite proud of this one. It is literally the neatest bag I've ever made. And it does have the wading birds on it, so we know there's a scissor fob and a needle minder that match it because they're over there. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that as I was thinking about my bag while describing how disgustingly filthy this is, because it comes with me everywhere. It's part of my life. It's not, I'm going to get that out and put 150 neat stitches into it. That one there is part of my life. It comes with me everywhere. It doesn't come to work with me unless I'm really pushed for stitches, but other than that, it comes with me. I have it in the car, and I very rarely have it in its bag. It's just stuffed in whatever tote bag I'm carrying. It's chucked in with a handful of DMC or my master sets with me. Wherever I go, it moved with me between the houses for half a year before I fully moved in here. You know, it was always with me. So it's pinging, it's disgusting. It will go through the washing machine in about 6 years. But now it mostly lives in here, mostly in the conservatory. It's not getting very much worse, give or take the biscuit I dropped on it, which meant that we found Cinderella because of the biscuit, because of my poor dunking skills. Right, was in my work bag. I'm not in my work bag anymore. The Shores of Hawk Run Hollow. Where I was last time I filmed, I have put stitches into this because I'm thinking I haven't, but it's been nearly 2 weeks. So things I put aside nearly a week ago, I've still put stitches in since you last saw it. So I've put this aside. I'm going to take it out of its Q-snap and put it away before it gets a cat sleeping on it, you know, before it gets too grubby. So now it looks like this. Ooh, there we go. So I've done quite a bit more of the house. I might have to pull this out in December or November or December and try and get this block finished, because I've done a lot of this house, and the house is full coverage. I'm up right up to the roof line. I think there's two, I'm looking for the patterns on the table. I think there's 2 or 3 stitches above the roof windows of roof. But that's where I've got to. I need to get it done, but it's not going to get done right now because I'm going to take it out of its Q-snap and put it aside for now. I might actually, thinking about it, here's how my plans work. Thinking about it right now, I might actually go and get Halloween at Hawkrun Hollow. I'm craving it. It's on the cusp of turning autumnal here. We're having gloomy day and then we're having beautiful sunny day. It's meant to be high 20s today, 26, 28 degrees here in the UK. That's Celsius, which for us is a hot summer day. The sky is completely blue above me here, so I've got to go to work as usual. I'll leave it about I'll leave it about 12:30 actually. I start at 2, I'm 2 till 10, but I've got something to do today before I go to work. So Shores of Hawkrun Hollow, I think I'm going to replace that with Halloween at Hawkrun Hollow and get a jump on the stitching of the Halloween block, because both of them I try and do a block a year, otherwise I'm never going to get them done. I try and do a block a year on both of them, but that's probably 4/6, 3/5 of a block. It's over half, but only just, I think. Obviously it's paper pattern, so who knows. Anyway, the next piece I pulled that I've been stitching on went into my work bag to replace, it just naturally replaced Halloween at Shores of Hawkrun Hollow. I've got it here, but I don't know where it is because I've just had it. Is my new start that I bought for my birthday but started after my birthday, is the Sycamore Gap, the Bothy Threads kit, Sycamore Gap, which I've substituted the fabric, I think, for 18 count. I'm pretty sure it's 18 count I've put in. And I think, having looked at it and looked at it again, you know what, I can't actually see the bloody piece. What have I done with it? I literally had it in my hand and got the pattern. I'm going to have to go and find it. I don't know is the answer. Here we go again. Okay, so I took it out of my work bag and put it on the sofa in the living room. Right, so the last time I filmed I was here and I was just working on the navy blue, which I think is probably 823, not 823, it's not 823. I've got my box here actually, 310 I think I decided it was, 312. It's in that ballpark. The 310 to 312 is the colour I think it is. Anyway, I'm here now on page 1 here. I'm sticking on page 1, that's the edge of page 1. So I did all of that colour and I've moved on to a nice turquoisey colour, a nice tealy colour, and I'm very nearly done with the tealy colour, and then I'll pick the next colour and I'm going to work down the ways. I'm going to do it page by page because it's a paper pattern, it's in my work bag, so I don't want to be jumping around all over the place. I am marking up the original pattern. I don't need a working copy. I've got to stop hoarding things. So when it's done, it's done. That's all there is to it. So that's all I can say. So that's where I am. I get to do maybe a thread and a half a day into this. Perhaps that much. Sometimes less, depends how long it takes me to get to work. Depends, you know, today I might get my little chore, it's a chore, out of the way earlier. And I'll get to work early, so I'll go and sit in the, in the staff break room, and I'll maybe have a bit of time to do some stitching. So I might get a little bit more into it today. If I can get onto the next colour, I'll be happy today. I'm about 50 stitches off the next colour, so you can see roughly how many stitches I get into it a day. Probably under 100, but it's ticking along. It's every day, so it's ticking along. It's like your, what's it called, the one, you spend 30 minutes on every day. It's one of those, so it will tick along. but it's just in my bag whenever I'm stopped in the car or... So school went back on Wednesday. My little boy went into year 8 here in the UK, which he is 12, so he's in year 8, second year of high school. He's gone back to his school that he loves, so he's happy, which he needs to be in school. He loves it. He really loves school, so that's really good. And Flora finally decided which school she was going to go to, and she's gone to the high school that got rebuilt after the Carlisle floods, because it was completely ruined and got completely rebuilt. She's going there in the middle of Carlisle, so she has to get the train to school, which she's doing. We got her rail card, finally. Finally got her the rail card, which took 5 minutes to do. Why I didn't do it like 6 months ago? Because I'm me. And she's working, and she's buying her own train tickets. So I think for a 16-year-old, that's more than good enough, isn't it? Just for awareness, the train tickets, like with her rail card, is like between £2 and £3. It's a 15-minute journey. So if you book them in advance, they're £2 or £3. Yeah, it's £2 something high, nearly 3. If you go to the station and buy one at the station, you're looking at, with her rail card, probably about £5 or £6. So it's better to book them in advance. We're basically just going to need to sit down every week and go, right, I can pick you up then, I can take you to school then, get the train home that day, get the train in that day and home that day, but we'll book a return. She's going to Grandma's that night, she'll get the bus to Grandma's, you know, which is in the opposite direction. So we just need to map out the week, and then we can buy all her train tickets in advance for the week, and that's easy. So I now have a pickup time. I'm one of these people who can, when I'm on an early, I finish at 2, she finishes at 3. So I'll do my chore. I'll talk about my chore in a minute, and then I will go and park up on a beautiful, again it flooded, beautiful tree-lined road, one of the main roads into, if anyone knows Carlisle, if you go in via Tesco's, this is gobbledygook to most people here. If you go in through Tesco's and drive to the centre of Carlisle, you'll know the street, the tree-lined street with the big, tall, 3-4-storey Victorian houses. That all got ruined in the floods. Some of them have been rebuilt, some of them have been refurbished, and some of them are still empty. And these are gorgeous Victorian, tall townhouses, and they're derelict. And I'm like, oh my God. I parked next to one yesterday that was basically derelict. And I was like, holy moly, which means it's not worth fixing, which is bananas. Provincial northern town. Anyway. So I can, when I'm done, I can go and park up and wait for her. She knows where I'm going to be now. I'm going to be parked between here and here, depending on where I can get a space. Luckily I have a tiny car, and I taught myself to reverse park in an enormous truck. So I can reverse park, because it's one of those roads that you have to reverse park into the spaces. So at least I can do that, which is good. And my car is tiny, so I can fit into quite tiny gaps, which is useful, I found. Anyway, so I can wait for Flora and I can do a bit of stitching. So that might actually get a little bit more stitching. However, if like yesterday, I fall asleep, and Flora came to the car and went, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I got up at 3:30 this morning. Easy, you know. Then I have a little nap. Doesn't really matter. As long as I'm there to collect her, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, I suppose. Anyway, so long story short, that will get a little bit more work. I'm gonna keep at that one for a little while until I want to rotate to something else. This is how loose my rotation is right now. I generally change projects when I find I'm not stitching on them. I found I'm not stitching on this anymore, so I may as well use the Q-snap for something else. And the last bit of, I've got the hiccups, sorry. The last bit of actual stitching I've got to show you is gone to pieces. Long dog sampler, it's one of my 4 in 4 here that I'm trying to now finish 4 of them before next leap year, 4 started ones. And the last time I filmed it was here, and I'm at 27.8% currently, and I think I'm going to push it to 30, or maybe even 33, so it's a third done, and then I'll change it out for one of the others. So right now it's, oh, I need something behind that for sure. That is very, very see-through. Let's grab a pan. This is my Sycamore Gap pan. Right, so I'm at 27.8% and it's now here, which is completely wrong. There we go. So I've put in the vomity horse. Always good to have a vomity horse. There's vomity horses on several of them. I know they're breathing fire or something, but they always look like they're puking to me. So we've got the vomity horse. He's wonderful. I'm so glad I found him. I didn't know he was there. I don't overlook at the patterns at all once I'm going. I mean, you can see what the bit you look at in Pattern Keeper. I'm doing this size because I use my phone. You can sometimes you can kind of see what's coming up. I know I'm about to stitch a squirrel here because he is on my Pattern Keeper hole when I pull up the page. I'm on. So there's a squirrel going in here. I thought I'd try and go right round this piece so that I can see, but I have got, this is the edge. There is a border. There's a border, and down this border there's also little dots, 2x2s, like a 2x2 Lego brick, all the way down the side here before the 2-stitch border. So that's the edge, but there's a border. So that's okay, and that's where I am currently. So I'm going to push on to at least 30, perhaps 33. I might do a bit more of the fill in here of this lovely pale yellowy peachy colour, apricot-y colours in that there to fill in the jigsaw piece. Or I can come up here and fill in the mauve up there. This is done on 36 count. It's a Lakeside Needlecraft fabric. It's fabric flare basically. It's called Granite, and it's got this lovely, it's showing well, it's sort of green. It's like the print on it, because it is completely white on the back. The print on it is like stone, but it's green tone, not grey tone, and I absolutely love this fabric. I've used it over and over again for all sorts of things. I did Anzac on it. I didn't do Anzac on it. I did Anzac on the lilac equivalent, the lilac one, and I still haven't done the back stitch on Anzac, by the way. And I'm doing Dilemma on this, but Dilemma's just sort of in a holding pattern forever now. Anyway, so that's where I am, and I'm going to carry on for a little bit more. 3% is under 1,000 stitches. I think it's 300 and something per 1%, so it's not, it's perfectly doable to finish up to 33 and then change it out for one of the others. We'll see which one I fancy when the time comes. I need to take that piece of pattern out of there and put it back with the pattern, otherwise I'll lose it. So that's all my stitching, and the only other thing to show you is my knitting, which last time I have definitely put some into this. I'm getting the hang of the pattern now. So this is a beautiful shawl, which isn't really a shawl because it's knitted in the round. So it ends up kind of like a poncho. It's going to end up a bit like a poncho. I've got a picture of it. I'll put the picture up here of how it's going to look, and then of course it's going to be insanely blocked. It's going to be heavily blocked because at the moment it looks like this. I'm using a beautiful ball of silk packer, it's called. It's Malabringo, or however that's pronounced. I call it Malabringo. It's probably something else altogether. Don't mind. In this gorgeous colour here, I can't remember. I have got that. I found it. Hang on, it's in here, I think. It's here. I've got it. It's called Abril. That's what it actually looks like. That is what it looks like. The colour today is very, very good. So you can see all the variegation in it, and you've got 420 yards here, 384 meters. It's 70% baby alpaca and 30% silk packer. Hand wash, cold water, dry flat. Block like your life depends on it. So I've got 2 of them. It should take 2, and there's my extra. There's my long zing, my knit pro zing needle there. That's the long one, 120 centimetres. So I'm getting to the point where I need to change from the 40 centimetre needle to the 60 centimetre needle, because my stitches are getting a bit crumpled up, a bit cramped. But you can see the pattern will be this way up, because of course this is the neck hole there. So it's, the bird just dropped something on the conservatory ceiling there, conservatory lid. So there we go. You'll be able to see it much better soon. And I've basically got 6 repeats, hence the 6 jump rings, 6 repeats of the pattern, and then the pattern, I'm doing five lots of this pattern. I'm on my second lot of it. So there's it's gonna grow 1 extra. So there's 1 here, and by the time it's 5 high, there'll be 5 of these on the row. So there's going to be 2 next, and then 3. Obviously, duh, yeah, you get it. And then the pattern changes to a different pattern, and then you do the pointy bits, and then you do some mass blocking, which makes it marvellous apparently. So we'll see. I've got a good time to do that. I've literally got 6 months to get that done. And that's it. So I was working every day but Wednesday. I've got Sunday, Monday off. I've got days off. It's tomorrow and Monday off. But I had Wednesday off, and on Wednesday, Tuesday night, I finally decided to do it. I hired a van and a storage locker, which I'd put a deposit on, but I was still like, oh, I don't know. So Lizzie and I, we dropped Flora at school, and we went and got the van. We went to the house, the old house. We loaded the van with her bedroom that was packed to the ceiling. We took that to the storage locker. We unloaded it. We came back, by which time Robin and his mum were in, because they'd been out at a hospital appointment or something. He's moved his mum in, and she's very unwell. He should have moved her in 2 years ago perhaps, but he's moved her in now. But yeah, so he was back. So we were taking things to the top of the stairs, and he loaded the van, which was insanely helpful, actually, very helpful. And then we picked Maddie up, who was at my parents', and went back to the storage locker, and the girls they both got a bottle of wine out of it. They were amazing. I loaded the trolleys, put them in the lift, sent the lift upstairs. We're on the 1st floor, but we are right by the lift on the 1st floor, so it's perfect. It's just one of these warehouses full of, with all the metal boxes in it, and we've got a box. And I will put a picture here of the box as it looked when we finished. It's full to the brim, absolutely to the brim, of everything unsorted, and it's unsorted. It's just literally sweep this stuff into a box, put it in the van, sweep that stuff into the box, put it in the van. So there's actual trash. There's clothes that are ruined and don't fit. There's schoolwork that we don't need anymore. There's actual rubbish. Like, it's all unsorted. But in amongst it, I was sorting through a pile of paperwork, and which was all to be shredded, like credit card statements from 2012. That's how old this stuff is. I found a photograph of my daughters, probably aged 2, 4 and 7. I couldn't, if I'd have thrown that all away, I wouldn't have the picture. There's my brain. I'm like the hoarding people. I have to put my eyes on everything. I can throw it away, it's not a problem, but I have to put my eyes on it, and it has to be me. So it's my chore. This is my chore. So now my box is in Carlisle, where I work. So I finish work on an early. I'm going to go to the box and get a little bit and put it in my car, and then come home and sort the bit. It goes in a bin bag. It goes in a box for charity. It goes to be sorted out because it's stuff we can put in the house, like pens and tape and clothes that are perfectly fine, they just need washing. Or it goes in loft. So that's kids' drawings from school, it's old toys that the girls want to keep, it's things like that, it's memory things. They will be sorted in the loft and put into deep storage. So everything's got a clear pathway. So yesterday when I finished work, I picked up Flora and then I took her to the box because she hadn't seen the box, and we brought books. The books are going, Flora's going to look over the books because she wants a nice bookshelf in her room and she wants some of Maddie's and some of Lizzie's books. So she's going to look over the books before we take them up into the loft. But most of the books will go up into the loft because I have so many books and there's not really the space in the house for them. Equally, I'm going to go over the books and the ones I don't need or have read and aren't going to read again. Bear in mind, most of my books have been brought from charity shops anyway, like they've been thrifted. So they're not super precious to me. Books I've purchased and love, I will keep, obviously, but most of them are just paperbacks that I've picked up, I've read, and I've kept. So they're going to get turned round. I've got almost like a depot right next to where I work. There's a huge, I think it's British Heart Foundation. It's a massive shop, but it actually, I think it's like a sorting depot. So I'm going to check, but I believe I can drop off household items because we get bags dropped off at the house all the time, but they only want clothes. They only want clothes. They say no bric-a-brac, and I have bric-a-brac. So bric-a-brac is books, kitchen stuff, it's just stuff you don't need anymore, basically, that isn't clothing or bedding. So I need to make sure I can drop bric-a-brac off at them, and then when I finish work, I've got a box of bric-a-brac in the car. I drop off my box of bric-a-brac. I go and get more from the storage box. I bring it back. I've got 8 weeks. I'm half price for 8 weeks, and then after 8 weeks, it rockets in price. So I've got 8 weeks, but it's a big job. I'm not going to be done. I might be done enough to move into a much smaller unit, which might work in my favour, but we'll see. Anyway, that's my chore, and that's what I did on my day off, which is why I didn't get to sit and stitch. I've got tomorrow off, I've got Monday off. I will be doing some stitching just because I need the downtime. And if I can scrape myself together, I've got quite a chunk to put in the Etsy shop, mostly handmade needle minders. And I've got the needle minder of the month to finish, and the invoices will get sent out in the next few days once I've got them made to the point that I'm happy that I can start to really get them finished. And then that'll be September over. October's is already in my mind. October's I ordered something for October's, which I now of course can't see. Everything I feel is right by me. Ooh, here. This is chameleon mica powder. You probably can't see, and it's going to be super loud. But there's 6 little tubs there, or 5, and silver. I feel this one here is not chameleon powder. I feel that is just silver mica powder. But these ones, they're catching the light now. They change colour when you tip them into the light. Whatever you wipe these on, they come off like that. So I can wipe that onto polymer clay and seal it in with resin, like the wings on some of my dragon scissor fobs, my dragon key scissor fobs that some of you've got. Some of them, because I got it after I'd started making them, have got the chameleon mica powder on, but I've got the ghosty colours. So there you go. There's October's needle minder of the month club process in. Obviously I need to do September's before I can work on October's. I want to do October's, obviously, but I need to do September's first. But that's it. I'm in process for it. I just have to make myself finish them before I start these, which is why this is still sealed in its packet. But I can use this on anything going forwards. I mean, these are used for nail powders, basically. People put I'm going to use them. I could do with some nail varnish on. My nails get ruined at work. But you put the base colour on, and then you put the mica powder on, and then you put the top coat, and then they're chameleon. By that I mean they change colour in the light. You know, it catches the micro glitters so micro that it basically changes colour as you move. So anyway, I got some of those. A small purchase. Other than that, what else I got? Here, everything's in such a mess. I got a whole lot of heavyweight card, for which I'm now, because I've started using these. So I have obviously got a whole box of them, so we'll look out for those. I'm in process, but then work took over because it does that. Now, I don't know when you're going to see me again, basically. It might be 2 weeks. I might have a window and think, right, I'm going to be able to make a video, but I might not, because I've got Sunday and Monday off. I'm in on Tuesday and I'm off on Wednesday, which is going to be nice. And then I'm in until the following Monday, so right through the weekend and I work the Monday. I'm off Tuesday, Wednesday. This is not next week, but the week after. And on the Tuesday, I'm taking Lizzie to university. So I've got to drive to London. And not just London, I've got to drive right round to East London. And when I live in the northwest, I've got to getting down's fine. It just takes a long time. But then I've got to get round London to there. So I'll be taking her, and then I've got the Wednesday off, which is really nice because I'm going to need it to recover from the drive. So we'll see what we get done that day. And then I go back to work on the Thursday, and then I've got 1 day off. I think it's the Monday, and then I've got 6 shifts that week. 3 not at my store. One of the other local stores has basically got no staff at the moment. For whatever reason, they've got no staff. So they've put out a massive, for the next month, they've got like an SOS, can we take people from your stores? So I've said okay, because it's nowhere near where I live. But I'm probably, from my store, I'm probably one of the closest because I don't live near my store. It sounds stupid. Anyway, I've taken 3 shifts at a different store. I'm rubbish at meeting new people. But I assume it's exactly the same job that I do at my own store. It should be the same with different people for 3 days. I should be able to manage. It means extra money because it's an extra shift. I'm doing 6 shifts in the week. I'm going to be absolutely knackered. So I don't know if you'll see me very much for the next few. If you don't see me for 2 or 3 weeks, don't be surprised, is what I'm saying. But as we all know, there's a whole plethora of people you can watch on Flosstube. You can just knock yourselves out. There's so many other people who are bloody brilliant, so go and watch them. Anyway, guys, my coffee's gone. I am done. Sid is sitting on my stuff. Where have you come from? He's sitting on my knitting. I just put my bit of knitting down and Sid is now sitting on my knitting. He is a force to be reckoned with. Anyway, I will see you when I see you. I'm okay. I'm just flat out at the moment. But I had a little window and I'm going to leave for work in 3 hours. So yeah, I better get this sorted and do some other bits and bobs that I need to do today. Right, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.